You don't win a man's soul by touching his skin. You win it by touching the places no one else dares to reach. Let's cut through the noise for a second, because you've been lied to, my friends. They told you men just want a pretty face, a nice body, a good girl who doesn't ask for too much. They told you that touch is just physical, that it's about sex, reaction, or performance. But here's the truth. A man can be touched by 1,000 hands and still feel empty until one woman shows up and lays her fingers where his spirit lives. So before we go any further, I need you to do two things. Press that like button, hit subscribe, not just because it's polite, not just because it helps the channel, but because what you're about to hear is not fluff. It's not cliche. This is real, sacred, soul-deep knowledge, and I'm pouring my whole spirit into it. And if you feel that energy already, then show love back. I need you. And now, hey ladies, imagine this. You're not dressed to impress. You're not trying too hard. You're in his hoodie, hair a little messy, sipping tea with one hand, flipping a page with the other. He looks at you like you're magic, not because you said the right thing and not because of what you're wearing, but because when you brushed your hand across the back of his neck earlier, he felt something. He felt chosen. He felt seen, and he felt claimed in a way no words could say. Because baby, that wasn't just touch, that was transmission. You see, touch isn't about technique. It's not a trick. It's not about being hot. It's about energy. And when you know how to channel yours, now we're in a different game. Most people only know how to touch the obvious. But the places I'm about to show you, these are the sacred spots, the secret portals, the places that trigger his nervous system, his memory, his instincts, his attachment. These are the places that make him feel like a man and make him want to rise for you. Not just because he's aroused, but because you make him feel chosen, claimed, and safe. Let me say it again, safe. That's the one thing he won't tell you he needs, but when he feels it, he never forgets it. My friends, men don't just fall in love with the obvious. They fall for the woman who touches their body like she's speaking to their soul. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, but the woman who leaves fingerprints on his psyche. You want to be remembered? Touch him in the places where his armor cracks. Touch him when he's not expecting it. Touch him in silence, with intention, with warmth, because a man never forgets the moment he felt seen through your fingers. He never forgets the one who didn't just want his body. She wanted his essence. So don't just play the game and change the rules. Don't just seduce, possess, leave him aching, not for your body, but for your energy, for the peace you brought, the fire you stirred, the space you held. And if you're ready for that kind of power, if you're ready to become unforgettable, then write it in the comments right now. I touch with purpose. My energy lingers. I awaken his soul. Write it like your future self already owns it. Because after this video, you won't just be the woman he wants. You'll be the one he can't stop coming back to. Stay with me. We're just getting started. Number one, the back of his neck. The spot a man guards the hardest is the one that reveals what he hides the most. You want to know where the real power lives? It's not in the places he expects you to touch. It's in the places he protects, the spots no one ever thinks to reach, because those are the places that carry his weight, his stress, his fear, his unspoken. Let's talk about the back of his neck. You ever notice how men rarely let their guard down? How even when he's laughing, joking, making love, there's a part of him that stays alert? That's not an accident. That's instinct. That's a man raised by a world that told him, be strong, be tough, don't let anyone too close. And the back of his neck, that's where the tension lives. That's where the pressure stacks. And that's the part of his body that gets touched only when he's being warned, corrected, or protected. So when you reach for it, gently, intentionally, without a word. You don't just touch skin, you send a message. I see what you're carrying, you can exhale now. Imagine this, you're behind him in the kitchen. He's cooking, focused, quiet. You step close, slide your hand up the back of his neck, fingers slow, breath soft near his ear. And you don't say anything. You don't need to, because in that moment, his jaw tightens, his spine straightens. Then it softens, because his body just registered something his mind hasn't caught up to yet. You're not here to take. You're here to hold. And now he's hooked. Not because of what you look like, but because of what you felt like. But maybe your mind's already firing off the doubts. Won't that feel weird? What if he pulls away? What if I touch him wrong? Let me stop you right there. The feminine doesn't ask for permission to be warm. She moves with grace, not fear. She leads with presence, not perfection. And when your touch comes from a place of grounded energy, not performance, he won't question it. He'll remember it. You see, a man can sleep with a dozen women and not recall a single scent, but one woman touches the back of his neck with intention. And he thinks about her in traffic, at work, brushing his teeth. Because it wasn't just physical, it was primal. It told the animal in him, you're safe, you're chosen, you're home. My friends, this spot is sacred because it's where the king hides his burden. And when you touch him there, not to take control, but to connect, you disarm the armor. You awaken the softness he doesn't show. And that's where true desire is born. So don't underestimate this and don't overlook it. This is your first key, not to his body, to his trust. So next time you're behind him, don't rush, don't speak, just touch and watch what melts, watch what awakens, because this isn't seduction. This is sovereignty. And you just touch the warrior where he hides. Now go write it in the comments like your energy's already owning it. I touch him where he hides. I disarm the armor. I move with intention. Number 2, the place he doesn't expect, your own body. The way you touch yourself teaches the world how to touch you, and it teaches him how to want you. Imagine this, you're not putting on a show, you're not in lingerie, you're not arching your back for attention, you're just being. Maybe you're sitting across from him, listening, the light soft, the moments unspoken, and as you lean in, you slowly tuck your hair behind your ear. Not for him, for you. You graze your fingertips across your own neck, absent-minded, graceful. You trace the rim of your glass, adjust the strap of your top, maybe smooth your hands over your thighs as you shift in your seat. No performance, no intention to seduce, but he's transfixed. Why? Because something primal just woke up in him. Not because you touched him, but because you touched yourself with reverence, with presence, with care. My friends, this is where the mystery begins. You want to drive him wild? Start by driving yourself home. Because the feminine, when she touches herself from a place of self-possession, from confidence and from ease, she doesn't just arouse a man, she awakens him. You see, we've been fed a lie that men only crave the woman who's hot or overtly sexy, that we have to do the most, say the right lines, move like a music video. But the truth is, a man falls deeper for the woman who's in love with her own energy, the one who sits in her body like it's holy ground, who touches her skin like it belongs to someone worthy, because when she does, he learns to crave her by the way she craves herself. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't have to prove anything to be desired. You just have to embody it. Every time you run your hand across your own collarbone, every time you adjust your shirt with intention, every time you stretch your arms above your head and let your body take up space without shame, you're saying, this is mine and I love being here. And that, my friends, is irresistible. Because to a man who's used to women seeking validation, you become the anomaly. The storm wrapped in silk, the goddess in sweatpants, the woman who doesn't need him to affirm her beauty. Because she already knows. And here's the sacred truth. When you honor your body with your own hands, you teach him how to honor it, and not just in bed, but in conversation, in energy, in awe. This is what I call embodied magnetism, and it's not loud and it's not thirsty. It's a hum, a rhythm, an invitation so subtle, it echoes in his bones long after you've left the room. So next time you're with him, don't reach for his thigh first. Reach for your own, gently, absent-mindedly, like it's your natural language. Because it is. Touch yourself like you're sacred, because you are. Move like your presence is a poem, because it is. Let your hands rest on your own skin like they belong there, because they do. And when you do that, he'll feel something he doesn't even have words for. He'll feel the pull. He won't know why the sight of you adjusting your sleeve or caressing your own arm hit harder than the lingerie he scrolled past that morning. But that's the difference. You weren't trying to seduce him. You were just in love with yourself. That's what unlocks something in a man, not your performance. Your presence. So say it now, and say it like your whole body knows it's true. When I touch myself, I awaken him. My body is a blessing. I am the desire I've been waiting for. Write it in the comments. Don't wait. Don't hold back. Because this is the part they never teach. This is the power you've always had. And baby, what? We're just getting started. Stay with me. Number 3, over his heart. Some wounds don't need fixing. They just need a place to rest. Let's go deeper now, to the center of him. Not the chest you see in pictures, not the part that rises when he's flexing, performing, posturing, but the space behind it. The place he rarely lets anyone reach, over his heart. My friends, this is not just a touch. It's a reminder that beneath the armor, beneath the jokes, the ambition, the confidence, he's still flesh, still breath, still breakable. This spot carries the weight of the things he couldn't say growing up, of the things he was told to bury, of the pressure to be strong, to be steady, to be unshakable. Even when he was crumbling inside. So when you place your hand gently on his chest, and not to seduce, not to soothe, but just to be, you're not offering repair, you're offering recognition. Imagine this, you're sitting beside him, a quiet night, the TV murmurs in the background, but your attention isn't there. You lean in, rest your head against his shoulder, and your hand rises slowly, then lands right over his heart. Not pushing, not pressing, and just holding that moment. His nervous system resets, his thoughts slow, and even if he doesn't say a word, he feels something ancient and rare. I'm not carrying this alone anymore, because the truth is, most men aren't touched there outside of intimacy. And even then it's rushed, conditional, performance-driven, but you do it without expectation, without asking for anything in return. You lay your energy like a warm blanket over a cold fire, and he doesn't have to earn it. He just has to receive it. That is the kind of woman a man never forgets. The one who touched the weight he never had words for. The one who didn't just hold his body. She held the part of him he thought no one would ever stay for. So next time you're close, don't overthink it. Place your hand where his heartbeat lives. Let your silence say, I see you. I've got you. You're still human. And I still choose you. Now go claim it in the comments and mean it. I touch the weight he won't speak out loud. I hold what he hides. I am his calm. And baby, if you think that unlocked something, what comes next? Might just bring him to his knees. Stay with me. Number 4, behind the ear. A man may forget your name, your perfume, even your kiss, but he will never forget the whisper that made his soul flinch. Now we arrive at the secret spot. The one almost no one talks about, but every man remembers. It's small, subtle, almost nothing, until it becomes everything, just behind the ear. And my friends, this spot isn't for the loud. It's not for the showy or the obvious. This is sacred real estate, the place you go when you want to haunt him, not with desperation, but with depth. Think about it. Who touches behind the ear? No one, unless they're close, unless they're trusted, unless they mean it. That's why this place is a portal. Not to his body, to his memory. Imagine this. You're leaning in to say something, and it could be a joke, a secret, or just a breath of silence. But instead of speaking into his ear like everyone else would, your fingers trace just behind it. Your lips hover, and you let your energy pour into the space between the skin and the shiver. He won't show it, but inside, his stomach flips, his spine lights up, and his heart, it stutters like a man who just got struck by a sound he didn't expect to feel. Because this isn't seduction, and it's subconscious possession. You didn't ask to be remembered, you became the memory. This is where women get it wrong. They think the loudest wins, that you have to scream sexy, that you have to dress like fire to burn him. But you're smarter than that. You know it's the whisper that undoes him. The flicker of breath behind the ear that makes him lose his train of thought. The gentle brush of your fingers that lingers longer in his nervous system than an entire night of touch. Because this spot, it bypasses logic. It speaks directly to the part of him that wants to surrender, but won't unless he trusts. And if you're the woman who knows how to use that moment, you'll become the one he thinks about on quiet drives and in hotel rooms, in crowded rooms where no one else knows what he's remembering, but his body does. So next time, don't rush. Don't force. Just lean in, breathe slow, brush your fingertips behind his ear like you're signing your name into his soul, and then say nothing. Let the silence carry the spell. Let the echo haunt him. Now write it like you are the memory. I am the whisper he can't unhear. I leave fingerprints on his silence. My presence echoes. Because what you just unlocked isn't about being desired, it's about being etched. Number 5, his jawline. Every man wears a crown you can't see until the right woman lays her hand upon it. Let's talk about the jawline, that sharp line of strength, that edge where grit lives, and that silent frame where his masculinity holds itself like a fortress. My friends, this isn't just a body part, and it's a message. It's where his discipline lives, where his tension gathers, where his silence hardens. And when you touch it with softness, with reverence, with timing, you don't just stroke skin, you ignite the man beneath it. Picture this, you're standing close in a quiet room, conversation's fading. He's looking at you like he's trying to figure out what planet you just landed from. And instead of words, you lift your hand slowly. You trace his jawline just once. And then you let your fingers linger, not with hesitation, but with knowing. Suddenly he's not in control. His breath catches, his chest tightens, not in fear, but in readiness, because you just told him without saying a word, I see the man, not the show, not the job, not the title, the man. You'd be surprised how many men go their whole lives without that kind of touch, the kind that doesn't grab, doesn't demand, just recognizes. Because a woman who strokes a man's jawline like she's reading scripture, she isn't playing around. She's crowning him. She's awakening the part of him the world forgot. And maybe he won't say a thing, he won't need to. But trust me, his body will remember. His soul will bookmark the moment. Because your fingers just did what approval, praise, and validation never could. You made him feel seen and still strong. So the next time you're face to face, don't rush the moment. Touch him like the man he's becoming, not the boy he's pretending not to be. And when you do, say it in the comments like your energy already knows. I stroke the man in him the world forgets. I honor his edge. I awaken his masculine. Because baby, that was just his jaw. Wait till you find out what's next. Stay with me. Number 6, his lower back. The most powerful claim isn't made with noise. It's made with a hand resting where his guard didn't see you coming. Now we enter sacred territory, his lower back. That quiet, underrated space just above the waistline. The part no one thinks to touch, but every man feels when you do. Because this spot, this is not for performance. This is for presence. My friends, this is where you speak without speaking, where your fingers say what your lips don't need to. I'm with you. I'm behind you. I've got you. It's primal, instinctual, animal. Think about it. Where do wolves walk when they move in pairs? Close, aligned, one's always guiding, the other always guarding. And when you place your hand on a man's lower back as you walk beside him, you shift something ancient inside him. He may not know why his shoulders loosen, why his pace slows, why he subtly leans in like his body suddenly found something it didn't know it was craving. But that's the power of this touch, because you didn't grab him, you claimed him. And maybe you've asked yourself before, how do I show him I'm here without overdoing it? How do I stay in my femininity and still make him feel seen? This is how. You don't pull, you don't push, you guide, you ground, you connect, you rest your hand on the small of his back like your soul already belongs there. Not to control him, but to remind him he's not walking alone anymore. Because that's what the feminine does best. She doesn't demand space, and she enters it. She doesn't yell for love, she radiates it. So next time you're beside him in the kitchen, on the street, in the dark, place your hand there lightly, intentionally, and let it linger. Then watch what shifts, because that moment, it'll stick in his nervous system like a prayer he didn't know he needed. Now go claim it. In the comments, write it loud, write it proud. I touch him like I belong there. I move with him. I steady his storm. Number 7, his wrist. The places he forgets to guard are the ones where your power slips in the deepest. Let's talk about the wrist, not his chest, not his lips, not the places the world tells you to focus, but that soft, overlooked place just beneath his palm, where the veins run close to the skin, where his pulse beats steady, where he's exposed even when he doesn't know it. My friends, the inner wrist is not just delicate, it's sacred, it's personal, it's unspoken access, and most people never go there. They're too busy grabbing what looks strong, what screams masculine. But the woman who traces slow circles on his wrist with her thumb, she isn't looking for attention, she's offering presence, and that That does something to a man. Imagine this. You're holding hands across a table. He's talking, focused, composed, but your thumb starts to move, soft, slow, intentional, on the inside of his wrist. And suddenly, he's not focused anymore. His words slow. His body reacts, not because you were flashy, but because you were felt. He may not even understand it, but something primal just clicked. You touched the part of him he didn't know he was guarding, and you did it without force, without performance, without a single demand. That kind of touch doesn't shout, it whispers, I see what others miss. I notice the quiet. I honor the subtle. And let me tell you, there's nothing more unforgettable than being noticed in the places you didn't think mattered. Because most men, they walk through the world armored up, stoic, controlled, untouched. But when you reach for his wrist, you touch the human, not the hero. You connect with the current, not just the skin. This is the kind of moment he won't talk about. But he'll remember in silence, in traffic, in the dark, when he's alone and wondering why he feels your energy still humming beneath his skin. So next time, don't grab his hand to hold it. Touch his wrist to read it, and let your energy say what your words never need to. Now go claim it. Write it in the comments like it's already flowing through your fingers. I touch the parts he forgets to protect. I see the unseen. I awaken quiet desire. Number 8, his hairline. The mind forgets noise, but it remembers the hand that taught it how to breathe again. Now we move to one of the most intimate, underestimated, soul-stirring places you can ever touch on a man, his hairline. That tender space between thought and skin, the edge of his mind, the place where his guard starts and your magic begins. Because let's be real, my friends. This world didn't teach him how to relax. It taught him how to grind, to stay sharp, to solve, fix, perform, protect, but not to receive. So when your fingers reach for his hairline, not to mess it up, not to tease, but to read him, you interrupt the mental noise that's been looping in his brain all day. This is not just touch, it's permission to exhale. Imagine this. He's laying down, finally still, maybe after a long day or in the quiet of morning, and you sit beside him and no words, no seduction. You just let your fingers graze his temple. Slide back, slow, into the softness of his scalp, one breath at a time, no rush, just rhythm. And in that moment, his mind doesn't just relax, it lets go, because you finally touched him like he didn't have to hold it all together. You didn't ask him to talk, you didn't ask him to lead, you just let him be. And that kind of feminine stillness is unforgettable, because most men don't get to feel softness without strings. They don't get touched without expectation. But when your hands land at his crown like you're reading the story of his life, and he feels seen. And more than that, he feels safe enough to surrender. That's the power of touch when it's backed by real presence. You don't just calm his body, you soften his mind. You don't erase the tension, you rewrite it. So don't underestimate this moment. The next time he's laying there, caught between thought and sleep, reach up, be still, be slow, and be there. And now, my friends, this wasn't just about touch, it was about transmission. You've been given the keys to awaken a man's body, mind, and spirit, not with effort, but with energy. So don't just hear this, embody it. Let every touch become a language. Let your presence leave fingerprints on his soul. If this lit something inside you, press that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with another woman who's ready to walk in her power. Because we're not chasing desire around here. We become the woman it can't forget. Stay radiant, stay rare, stay with me.